You're listening to the Spooky Darlings, where three sisters get together and talk about all kinds of fun stuff. And today is another stop on our cryptid crawl. We are in Montana today, but first of all, I'm Emily.
I'm Nettie.
I'm Haley.
And Nettie's going to start us off today with, first, I think she's counting what number we're on.
She's singing.
She's
I think
singing
we're
in
in
her head.
26. I think
Are
this is the
we?
26th cryptid
Hooray.
episode. I think Montana is the 26th state because I believe Missouri was last time. And it was the 25th.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. 25 was Missouri, so we're on 26 Montana today.
We're
So-
halfway. We're more than halfway through.
Yeah, this is
Oh my
our.
gosh,
the
you
hump.
guys.
This takes us past the halfway mark today. All right, so Nettie, you want to take us away? Take it away? Take us in?
I do. All right. Today we're doing Montana cryptids. And as you know, if you're a longtime listener, or as at least we three sisters know from our journey into cryptid lore, there are many states that have tiny humanoid creatures as part of their cryptid list. So I'm going to very quickly review the ones we've spoken about only. So in Alaska, we had the urchin rot, which Emily reported about. And then Colorado had the Tommy knockers, and they were about 2 feet tall. Haley reported about them. Then Delaware, Emily talked about the puckwudgies. Again, 2 to 3 feet tall humanoid creatures.
Those were probably so far. We'll see. Those were so interesting.
The
Like
puckwudgies
maybe
were.
my favorite little people lore.
I think mine were the goblins, but I didn't include them in this list because I consider them
the
aliens. The
goblins.
Kentucky goblins. Maine, we had the Waldoboro Wildman, which I spoke about.
Oh, that
and
was
then
cool too.
Michigan, Emily talked about the Nain Rouge, which is probably the most similar to what I'm going to tell you about today. And then there's not only this, but there's a bunch of stories and religious beliefs just like from within Western Native tribes that include stories about little people. Mm-hmm. Even here in Oregon, the Umatilla tribe has lore called has a group of little people that they call stick Indians. And the Nez Perce call them Iste Yaha. So Lewis and Clark, in their journals, recorded interactions with little people.
Stop it.
And recorded hearing many, many stories from tribes as they did their journey west.
I would have paid a lot more attention to the Lewis and Clark segment if they had talked more about this.
Yeah, they didn't talk about it a lot.
Why didn't they? Also, stick Indians sounds like a little creepy and witchcrafty, and I really want to know more about it.
Wait till Oregon Cryptids, and then you can do it if you want.
LMNO.
Or one of us can. It's coming up.
We might forget about it, which has happened before.
Yeah, we might.
We are very distractible.
So, one thing that all of these stories have in common is that they have a common message. Oh, let me say that again. I didn't like how I said that.
Rewind.
I thought you were making fun of her.
No, that was my rewind noise.
Nice try.
I just realized Haley's editing this because in my mind I'm like, I'm cutting all this out. And then I just realized Haley's actually editing this episode. I'm like, shit, this is all staying in.
We'll see.
So one thing that all of these stories have in common is that you have to respect the land and you have to respect the little people.
Mm-hmm.
In almost every version of these stories, these people are stewards, or these humanoid creatures, I don't know if I can call them people, they are stewards of the land. And that does not change with the cryptid I'm about to tell you about, because today we are stopping in Montana to learn about the little people of Pryor Mountains, In the Pryor Mountains, there are petroglyphs all over the canyon walls and the cliff walls. Mm-hmm. And the Crow people attribute these petroglyphs to a group of little people called the Nirumbi or the Awakule. And those are two words that are in the Crow language, and I'm probably mispronouncing them. Mm-hmm. And they are described as small, demon-like creatures. And their legend comes from the Crow tribe. They're dwarves, and they are known to be ferocious. But along with that, they are believed to impart spiritual wisdom to those that interact with them in a respectful way. And they're a very major part of Crow folklore and a major part of like where the Crow people are today.
Okay.
So the Crow people come from a tribe, like a larger group of natives called the Hidatsa. And the Hidatsa were...
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Really quick. So, no. You're just about to answer this question. Let me stop myself and you keep going. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So the Hidatsa people were this larger group of native people. And then a group of them around like mid 17th century through the Yellowstone. They went into the Yellowstone River Valley into what is now known as Montana. Mm-hmm. And then they lived there on the plains by the river near the Pryor Mountains and the Wolf Mountains.
And these are the Crow people.
And these are now the Crow people.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
And probably around, and this happened probably around 100 years before Lewis and Clark came through, because Lewis and Clark started their journey in 1804, and they think that this happened they think that the Crow people separated from the Hidatsa or mid 17th century, or even slightly before the mid 17th century, so like sometime like 1650 or before.
Okay.
The Pryor Mountains are considered sacred to the Crow people because of their belief that these Nirumbi, or little people, live there. The physical description, for those that have seen them, are that they have large heads. Mm-hmm. They're anywhere from 14 to 18 inches tall, and they are very strong, very muscular. They have short arms and legs, and they have almost no neck. Why, is one of you drawing this?
Shoot.
Just
sorry.
kidding.
I don't have a pad of paper.
I'm going to draw it on the back of my notes.
I'll get you paper, Haley.
Come on, I've got a notebook right here.
Oh, she's got it. Okay. Large heads, 14 to 18 inches tall, very strong, muscular, short arms and legs, almost no neck, and lots of sharp canine-like teeth in their mouths.
Oh, jeez.
So there is a story in Crow folklore of a young boy who was lost in the woods, and he saw a little person who killed a full-grown elk, a bull elk, and carried the elk away just by holding the head over its shoulder and dragging it. There's an expression in the Crow language where they say, "You're strong as a dwarf." So strong as a dwarf is actually considered like a compliment in the Crow language.
Okay.
So they're described as extremely fierce warriors. They're meat eaters. They're possibly even eat people. And nearby tribes that are not Crow related have told stories of the little people tearing out the hearts of their horses.
Whoa.
So that these tribes would not come in and invade the Crow area, because they were actually scared of the little people that guarded the Pryor Mountains, which I'm assuming was the passage into where the Crow lived.
Gosh, whoa.
So you didn't want to make war against the Crow.
I feel like that's really hard to do, just tearing out the heart of a horse.
Yeah, but if you
Like
think
a
about
horse's
it,
rib cage?
the height, they'd just be able to jump right up. 14 to 18
Jump
inches
right
tall.
into their guts.
Perhaps. But they were like supernaturally strong. Because 14 to
Right.
18 inches, that's like a ruler, a 12-inch ruler, plus a half ruler at the tallest.
Right.
A foot and a half. It's tiny.
Man.
Each year, the Crow, and still to this day, this happens with many of the Crow people, they made offerings to the little people at Medicine Rocks, which is also known as Castle Rocks. And this is not related to the TV show or the book Castle Rock by Stephen King.
Okay.
Castle Rock by Stephen King is a fictional Maine village. I looked it up because I was like, I wonder if it's the same thing. And the Crow believed that the little people, live there. So that's why they make their offerings. The offerings were usually beads, cloth, tobacco, arrows, any type of food. Mm-hmm. The little people were also known to be dangerous and to steal things. They would steal children.
Oh.
And there are a few legends where the little people stole children, perhaps to eat, but sometimes to raise. They also stole food, medicine, and tobacco. And the Crow made arrowheads out of bone, only bone. So they would find stone arrowheads, and those that saw the little people said that they had spears with stone arrowheads at the tip. And so they believed every time they found a stone arrowhead that it was an arrowhead from the Nirumbi, or the little people of the Pryor Mountains. Mm-hmm. Anyone who tried to play a trick on the little people, what is happening? Don't do that. Would end up in some sort of form of despair, almost like a curse had been placed on them. They would always experience some form of misfortune, usually on their entire family. So it was like really, really drilled into the Crow people that you respected the land, you respected the Pryor Mountains, and you absolutely respected the little people.
And you would get that curse if you disrespected?
If you tried to play a trick on them
You
or
tried
a
to play
joke.
a trick. Okay.
I think disrespect too. But
So
like,
are we thinking like if you tried to set a trap, like a leprechaun trap, but for the little people, like that kind of thing? Like if you're...
yeah, it didn't specify, but I'm
TP their
assuming, I'm assuming it's like try to go in and like just be disrespectful, like go hunting for them or try to make sounds or catch them or capture them.
If you tried to ding dong ditch them.
Yeah, they didn't have doorbells, but yes, their version of ding dong ditch, which I think is knock on a rock and run. Don't do that.
Knock on a rock.
The little people were sometimes called spirit dwarves because they were believed to give certain people within the Crow tribe blessings or spiritual insight. And there's a thing in the Crow culture called moxpe, which means sacred. And so anything to do with the little people, like if you received a blessing from them, it was considered moxpe or sacred. And everyone stayed away from the Pryor Mountains. You knew not to go there because it was dangerous, because that was the home of the little people. But occasionally, a lone tribe member, and in all of the cases I found, it was always a man. So I think it was mostly, Indian or Native braves would go and they would fast, sometimes do a sweat lodge, and then go on a journey into the Pryor Mountains where they would then have interactions with the little people and receive like messages or, spiritual insights of some sort.
Right.
And there was a young man that went and he fasted for a few days and then went up and journeyed into the mountains. And he came back and he said, I have been given a vision by the little people of how to pass safely through the Pryor Mountains. And he said that travelers need to shoot arrows ahead of them as offerings to the little people as they went through this place called Pryor Gap. Oh. And Pryor Gap was known by the Crow people as Hits with Arrows. That was the name of the gap. And there was a creek that ran through it, and they called it Arrow Creek. And it's because if you go there, there's just like arrows everywhere because the Crow people would shoot the arrows as the offering ahead of them to let the little people know they were coming. And then he said the other thing you could do if you didn't have arrows to shoot or didn't want to shoot arrows is you could leave beads, cloth, or tobacco as an offering.
Throw it ahead of you, though?
I think you leave it at the entrance of the passage. And even now, if you go to the Pryor Gap area, there are rocks, like piles of rocks left behind because they would also say you could leave a stone as an offering on these mounds. And then the closer you get to the gap, like the bigger the piles of the mounds become. And I think the mounds even go all the way up to Castle Rock, which if you look at a picture, it's like up a hill. And then there's this big, like kind of jutting thing that sticks, what do you call it? Like a stone, like almost plateau that sticks at cliffs at the top. And that's the Castle Rock or Medicine Rock. And the piles of stones get bigger and bigger, like as you go up there, because people will go up there to have their lone spiritual journey and try to interact with the little people.
Wow, that's interesting.
So the Crow would do this thing called the sun dance. And the little people played a really important role in the sun dance. In fact, the Crow people would build sweat lodges and actually it was a Sundance Lodge. I believe it was like a sweat lodge and a Sundance Lodge. They called them Sundance Lodges for these ceremonies, and they believed that the lodges they built belonged to the little people. So they would build them, but then leave them for the little people.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a chief, and I'm going to tell you about him. His name was Alik Chia Ahush, which translates to plenty coops. And a coop is a daring act of bravery. So at first I was like, I wonder if he had, I genuinely thought this. I'm not trying to be funny. I was like, I wonder if he had a lot of chickens, like plenty coops, but it's C-O-U-P, not C-O-O-P. And so I looked it up, and a coop is a daring act of bravery. And so you would have some sort of physical symbol, like a feather or like a trinket or a bead of some sort that for every act of bravery you performed as a warrior.
Oh.
But he was given this name, I believe. Well, this is where I got confused because they call him Plenty Coops from the beginning, but he might have earned this name later. It might have been given to him.
Is it coup, like the French word coup? Like
it's C-O-U-P.
Yeah.
I don't think it's coup because a coup is different in French. It's not an act of bravery, isn't it? A takeover? in French.
I just wondered if it was related, but you didn't find that it was?
I didn't find that it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of wondered the same thing, but the meaning, I didn't actually Google was it related, but I just Googled the meaning of plenty coops, and it said plenty, like many acts of bravery in the Crow language.
Right.
So, Chief Plenty Coops, at the age of 9, well, he was just Plenty Coops at this point. He wasn't a chief. His older brother, who he loved and respected, and his older brother was respected in the tribe. Like he was very handsome, he was very brave, and he was like a warrior. And his brother was killed by Lakota warriors that came in. And so this was really hard on Plenty Coops. So he wanted to go seek a vision, and his tribe was getting ready to move because the Crow people were nomadic, so they would stay in this part of Montana,
like for seasons.
Like during the summer months, and then they would move someplace warmer during the winter months. So his tribe was literally packing up to leave, and he was like, no, I'm going to seek a vision. 9 years old. Wow. I'm going to seek a vision. So he fasted first for 4 days, and then he used the sweat lodge.
And all then, the adults were just like, you're 9, you're in charge of yourself.
You're like, you're an adult. And then he rubbed his body with sage and cedar, and they said it was to get rid of body odor. And I don't know if that was like a part of their ceremony.
Cleansing.
Yeah. And then he went into the Pryor Mountains by himself. And there he experienced a vision. The chief of the little people came to him, and he took Plenty Coops with him into what they call the Spirit World Lodge. And inside the lodge, Plenty Coops saw representations of, like, he saw physical representations or like the spirit form of powerful forces of nature, like wind and stars and thunder, the moon and storms. And he could see that they had like spiritual representations. And then the chief like sat little Coop or Plenty Coops down. And he,
I wonder if they did call him Little Coop back then.
Maybe. I think I accidentally said it because it was the Little People's Chief. The Little People's Chief sat Plenty Coops down, and they asked him to count Coop. And that is like when, as a warrior, you would list off your acts of bravery and explain how you got all of the Coops that you have a physical representation for, like a bead or a feather. And Plenty Coops said, I'm only 9. I haven't done any acts of bravery. I haven't done anything. So I don't have anything to count. And the Little People's Chief said, well, I'm going to count for you 2 things that will happen, that you will do, which will be your Coops, but you will also accomplish many more Coops. And the 2 things were that he would eventually become chief of his people. And he said that he would use his position, his skills, his intelligence, and his willpower to become a strong leader. And the second thing he would accomplish is he would actually help his people survive the sweeping changes that were being brought in by westward expansion and all of the white settlers that were coming in. And after the vision, Plenty Coops felt like he had a purpose, and he went back and he was able to like catch his people before they actually left for migration. So then 2 years later, he had another vision. When he was 11 years old, he and his family had moved to the Beartooth Mountains, and that's on the border of Montana and Wyoming, like where the Pryor Mountains are kind of not on the border, but they're in the southern part, like southern central Montana. This right here is the border of Wyoming and Montana. It's the Beartooth Mountains. And a bunch of young men were encouraged to go into the hills and seek visions. So Plenty Coops went with other boys his age and other young men, maybe a little older, a little younger, and they walked for 2 days and fasted during the journey. And then they all kind of go off on their own, and they went to this place called the Crazy Mountains. And he didn't receive a vision. And he met back up with his friends, and they went back. And so then I guess his friends didn't receive visions either. So they all fasted again, and they did sweat baths and sat in sweat lodges. And then
just a bunch of 11-year-olds not eating.
Maybe some 12-year-olds in there. Who knows? Maybe a 9-year-old. Who knows?
I bet they got cranky.
Oh, I bet. And then they went up, and Plenty Coops decided to cut off the tip of his right, or was it left? Hold on. Left. Plenty Coops cut off the tip of his left index finger as an offering to the little people.
Why didn't you just bring a necklace?
Listen, this worked. because that night he dreamed of the chief of the little people again. And he introduced him. He actually brought him down underground to where the little people lived in this cave system underground. And he introduced him to a buffalo. And in front of Plenty Coops, the buffalo transforms into a man. And he becomes a man with buffalo-like features. So he calls him the Buffalo Man. And they go and they journey underground, under the Pryor Mountains. They journey for 2 days. And then Chief Plenty Coops saw a vision where there were plenty of buffalo, Plenty Coops, plenty of buffalo. And the buffalo were emerging from a cave in the ground. But as they emerged, they disappeared. And just like, he just said it was like just innumerous amounts of buffalo. And as they'd come out of the cave, they would disappear.
Whoa.
Then he saw buffalo that looked different, is how he described them. He said they were different colors, they had spots, they were a little bit different shaped, and they came up out of the cave, but they didn't disappear. They stayed.
Were those cows?
I'm about to get to that.
I'm sorry.
And it's okay. So these, he called them bison. These different looking bison remained on the plains. And then he saw a vision of himself as an old man living near Medicine Rocks, which is by the Pryor Mountains. He also saw a huge forest. And then there was a powerful windstorm that came through, and it destroyed the entire forest, leaving only like a couple trees and a lone chickadee. And the chickadee survived. And he said a voice explained to him that the traditional era of the Plains Indians, of which the Crow were a part of, was coming to an end, and the white people would spread across the land like buffalo. However, the chickadee would survive, and the chickadee represented Plenty Coops and his people. And the chickadee also represented qualities like being a good listener and developing one's mind and using intelligence and cleverness to survive. So Plenty Coops, at 11, had this vision, went back down the mountain and told his tribal leaders about his vision, and they helped him interpret it. And they said it meant that all of the buffalo would disappear, like that roamed that area.
Yeah.
And if you know, like there are still buffalo in that area, but there used to be like
droves,
so many more than there are now. And then they said that the white settlers' cattle would replace the buffalo, which is what you were saying. And that if the Crow people used intelligence and adaptability, they would be able to survive this. And they also, and this actually made them feel good, and I think this helped them come through it because they weren't going into despair. The vision said that they would get to retain their land around the Pryor Mountains and Medicine Rock. And all of this happened. The Crow people survived the changes, and their reservation is right in the Pryor Mountain area and over by Medicine Rock, so they were able to keep that place.
Wow.
Nowadays, physical evidence has been found that support the theory that there are little people in the Pryor Mountains. Not just in Montana, but also in Wyoming and in the San Pedro Mountains. There was actually a particular mummy that they called Pedro the Mummy because he was found in the San Pedro Mountains, and that was in Wyoming. That was a fully developed human, meaning not like an infant, like a fetus or an infant.
Right.
That was dwarf-sized and humanoid, and people wonder if that is possibly one of the little people of the Pryor Mountains or, that roam that area. Other mummies were found that were actually found to be anencephalic infants, which are those babies that are born with the, like if you're
head?
Encephalitis or something, with the like swollen head. So they did find 2 remains that were babies that were known to have that.
Whoa.
According to the testing. And so a lot of people are like saying that's all that was, but there have also been plenty of Native people to this day that report having interactions with the little people. So the physical evidence of the mummies, it's disputed. Some people think that the Pedro mummy was a real little person. Other people think that it was probably just like an infant. But I found some stories on Reddit, and I couldn't tell if this story was true or not because it was like it was on No Sleep, which is sometimes fiction, but then people were commenting like it was true. And I'm going to give you a very condensed version of it. But there was a woman who was outside like doing laundry, and she was watching.
Well, just one of the rules of No Sleep is you treat the story like it's real.
Okay. So I'm going to read it. Like
you
it's
read
real.
it. You read it. I just wanted you to have that information.
Thank you. So in this story, there was a lady named Kala, and she was outside doing laundry, and she's like out there with a bunch of kids, and she's got her littlest boy there who's just a couple years old. And she calls the kids in, and this like older kid that's like the stories from his point of view feels like he hears her talking to her little boy, which is named Hank. And I think Hank was like 3. So he thought Hank was inside. But then as this woman, I think her name is Kella, as she's doing laundry, she says to the narrator, like, where's Hank? And he's like, I thought I heard him come in with you. And she's like, no, he never came in with me. And they couldn't find him. And yeah, so he said that they were playing hide and seek with Hank. And he heard her call to Hank and felt like he like saw their shadows go into the house. So he didn't actually see Hank, but in his mind, he was like, oh, she called to him and I saw their shadows because he was in his hiding place, and they went into the house. But then they could never find him. And so they went out and they put bells on their feet to like, so they could hear each other. And they went to try to find Hank, and they searched for days. They called up other people and searched for him, and they could never find him. And then years and years went by, and Kala like was just like never recovered from it, and she was like old, and they were sitting outside, and she heard footsteps, and she heard a child yell mama, and her little boy, unaged, came out of the woods, came out of like the field grass in the woods and came running up to her. And then like they saw just like a whisper of like movement in the grass that showed someone was moving back through the grass. Ooh. So it's probably fiction because there's no like nothing else after that, but I thought it was a cool story.
I think that's a cool story.
But then some other people said, like, this is a comment on alternative history, and people were asking, like, has anyone had interactions with the little people? And this person said, I live near the Pryors. Some people believe, some don't. I've been in the Pryor Mountains many times and have not seen anything, but I have heard stories of people coming back to disabled vehicles after going for a hike. And there was one man that said every single lug nut on his car was loosened. He just comes back and all of them were loosened.
Oh, thank goodness he noticed.
And this
I
person
wouldn't have noticed that.
I wouldn't have known how to notice.
Me neither.
That's crazy.
I would have been like, everything looks a little wiggly.
My car's a sled now. The tires just fell off.
And this person said, I live close by as well. I grew up out there. Whether I believe in the little people or not, I respect other beliefs. I leave a little food for the little people when I go out there, or maybe a little tobacco. So he's like, I think that means you believe. If you're like, listen, I don't know if I believe it, but I'm going to honor the tradition. I think you're a little bit of a believer.
Like when I go hiking just in our thing over here, I like to maybe sometimes leave a little something. I don't know. Just like.
I like to talk to the trees and like thank them for their shade.
Yeah.
I used to just hug them without asking for consent. And then I saw a TikTok where this girl said, you should ask the trees for consent and you'll know if they consent or not. So far, every tree is consented.
Yeah.
I just love you're out there hugging trees.
Of course.
I do love it. I'm always a little worried about the bugs. That's why I do a gentle tap, like a gentle love tap.
Love pat.
Like a, hey, bro.
Yeah.
Like a side hug.
Yeah. Side hug the trees. Yeah. And this other person said, I live close by as well. I grew up out there. Whether I believe in the little... I already said that. This other person, a different other person, said, I was working with some Native Americans up in the mountains of Wyoming and smoked a cigarette. In Wyoming and Montana share a border. And smoked a cigarette, and they told me, don't smoke the entire cigarette. Leave some for the little people, and they will help you when you need it. So if you just have that as kind of an offering to the little people. So next time we're up there, girls, we can't finish our cigs.
Bring a pack of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, I suppose we could just give them an unsmoked cig. I'm like, well, now we have to smoke.
Now we have to smoke them.
So we can leave an unfinished cigarette. And then another person said, I've had a couple experiences with little people. I live near those mountains, the Pryor Mountains, and hike there pretty frequently. One day, I drove way back in there for my hike, and I felt eyes on me the whole time. When it was time to leave, I was driving out and came across a couple of legs from a deer carcass arranged in an X in the middle of the road. What? There wasn't anyone else out there. I got out and left an offering of tobacco and a couple of oranges and went on my way.
Okay.
Another time I was hiking back into a canyon and suddenly heard very distinct bipedal footfalls coming through the underbrush next to the trail. They stopped when I stopped. Finally, I said something to the effect of, please allow me to visit this sacred place in peace. I pulled out a couple of oranges and left them by the side of the trail, said thank you, and continued. They just want their territory to be respected. Don't litter. They will mess you up if you don't pay them respect. They are ancient elemental spirits and have been the guardians of that range for eternity. I have heard a lot of stories from the indigenous people in this area too.
Don't litter, but do leave them cigarettes.
I was just
And
going to say,
oranges.
I would normally think that a half-smoked cigarette was littering, but
No.
this is changing my perspective.
They are a chain-smoking
Little people.
little people.
And then comments on that. This is the person comments on the person leaving oranges. The person said, do you always have a bag of oranges on you?
Sounds like it.
And then he replied, snack of choice for most of my hiking trips. And then the next person replied, I couldn't help but picture George Costanza offering the Japanese tourist oranges when Kramer spent all their money. Then there was one more post. This was on the Facebook group, the 406. And someone posed the question, Little People in the Pryor Mountains, is it true or just a crow history story? Thoughts? And this person said, never saw any littles, but one time my wife and I were going to the ice cave, which there's an ice cave in Pryor Mountain. Driving down a horrible dirt road, not a car in sight, we came across a cloud pillar the size of a human in the middle of the road, about 100 yards in front of us. I was pretty much stopped. We were looking at it, trying to figure out what and how. Then it made a beeline straight down the road and passed right through and over the truck. Still have no clue on what or how. Now, there was a story from the point of view of either the Shoshone people or the Sioux people. I think it was Shoshone, and I should have written it down. But I watched a video where a tribal elder of the Crow people talked about Chief Plentycoops and how many people said that Chief Plentycoops could see the little people and they would join him in battle. And while his other tribe members couldn't see the little people, because they would almost do, I think, what a lot of people think Bigfoot does, which is where they're only visible to some people. They could see the energy force around Chief Plentycoops while he fought and would watch like almost a haze of energy sort of protect him. Wow. And there was like a particular story where the Crow people were being chased with Chief Plentycoops by the either Sioux or Shoshone. I'm sorry, I should have written it down, but it was like a story I was watching and I wasn't taking notes.
Right.
And the Shoshone people or Sioux people reported that the Crow people actually threw themselves like into a place where buffalo were fighting. They threw themselves into the middle of it, and then they watched as like a protective barrier almost formed around them, and so the people pursuing them weren't able to attack the Crow people because the buffalo were protecting them. And then in the middle of the buffalo, they had like almost like a force field.
Whoa.
Around them, and the Shoshone people could see that there were dwarves surrounding Chief Plentycoops, but Chief Plentycoops' own warriors could not see it. They could just see the force field.
Whoa.
And that was like a story that was told.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
wild.
And this same man that told this story said that his mother had a vision. Oh, so there is a woman, because I remember his mother said she had a vision with the little people, and that the little people told her, or maybe it was like her father, I don't quite remember, that they were moving. Oh, no. It was someone before that they were moving north because the land was becoming too polluted, where the Crow were living, and they weren't respecting the land, but they would still come back and help out occasionally. I thought that was cool.
Wow.
And then there was a story on TikTok of a woman who was on the reservation near the Pryor Mountains of the Crow tribe, and she said that one night she saw what she thought was her 4-year-old son like run past her, and she like called to him like, hey, you need to, do something before bed. And her child didn't respond, so she went to be like, excuse me, sir, you're going to listen to your mother. And she walks into the living room where he had gone, and her son is sound asleep on the couch, like sound asleep. Like in one of those states of sleep where you're not faking it, and they've clearly been asleep for a long time.
Wow.
So she said that was weird, and then she like clocked that and then kept seeing a flash of what she thought was her son running past her. And then she said that went on for like a year. And then one night she's laying in bed and she sees her son in the doorway. And she goes, oh, honey, are you okay? Do you want to climb in bed with me? Are you scared? And she said she like opened up her covers and was like, come on, hop in bed. And then she kind of like rolled over and closed her eyes because she was in a stupor. And she felt the pressure of what she thought was her son climbing on the bed. but never felt her son settle in next to her. So she kind of woke herself back up and looked at the foot of the bed, and there was a person about 2 to 3
dwarf
feet
man
tall. Yes, 2 to 3 feet tall, with a wrinkled face, a giant head, and large black eyes, and a mouthful of teeth. But she said he had a skinny body, which is different than the other descriptions because they said it was a very stocky, muscular body. So I don't know. Maybe the little people are hungry. I don't know. Just staring at her
son's snacks.
And then when she woke up and like said something, it darted off.
Oh man.
I wonder if they always were stocky or if they conflated muscular with stocky, because you can be skinny and very muscular. Maybe they just like don't have a lot of visceral fat.
So they used the word stocky and strong
Most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah.
I just keep on envisioning like if he'd responded and been like to the woman like, "You sure? You sure, lady?"
Come up in bed.
Okay.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, this is the invitation I've been waiting for. I thought you'd never ask.
But they speak Crow, not English.
Sorry.
It's just my brain and the story it made up.
Sorry,
I was
Haley.
just sharing that.
Well, that's pretty much it. That's what I have for the little people of Pryor Mountain.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
cool, Nettie.
That was a lot of information. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. It probably went a little longer than I intended.
No, I think you did great.
Maybe a little longer than I intended. Sorry.
No, that was really good.
But we know Haley's is going to be short.
Mine's short, guys. That's my specialty when it comes to the cryptid episodes.
And we're going to hear about it now.
Right? Meow. Nettie, that was really good.
Thank you. It was fun to research.
Yeah. Well, now I don't know who my favorite little people stories are. I'm going to have to think
Mine are
about
still
it.
the Hopkinsville goblins. I loved them.
Yeah, the goblins.
I
was
loved 'em.
great.
They were cute.
I loved the one that reached down and touched the head.
Mm-hmm. Just very gently and scary. Okay. Well, kind of last minute, like how I like to do, especially with the cryptid episodes, I chose Flessie, the Flathead Lake monster.
Flessie.
Before there were like reports of this from, the white people heading west. There are stories from the Kootenai, an indigenous tribe in this part of Montana. It's more western Montana, because the Flathead Lake is like pretty far west Montana. Actually, like we could drive there. I mean,
have looked at Flathead Lake as a possible destination
yeah.
for us. It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. And so the Kootenai tribe, they say that a huge antlered monster lives in the lake. Two girls, and this is winter, the tribe is crossing the lake. Two girls find the antlers poking through the ice on the lake, and they go to grab them. And then, oops. And then the monster breaks through the ice, and half the tribe drowns in the lake.
No, that's so sad.
Yes. And so then in 1889, a steamboat with 100 passengers, people see what they think is a large log, and then the log starts to move, and a man panics, and what does he do?
Jumps in, shoots it.
Shoots at it. Oh.
First, I don't know why I said jumps in. I have to jump into where it is.
And they said that was like a whale-sized creature, and then it disappeared. 1900, a 12-year-old sees a 20-foot barrel-like creature. In 1955, a fisherman hauls a 7.5-foot, 181-pound sturgeon. And this is where people start to credit the creature sightings to large fish, sturgeon. But the Flathead Lake monster has antlers.
Everyone wants to blame sturgeon and baby owls.
Yeah. Also, are we completely ignoring the possibility that sturgeons sometimes have antlers?
Yeah. Completely ignoring that fact. You're right.
I don't know why we've never thought of that before.
But all
Maybe
of
you
the sightings
haven't.
before then, yeah.
I said I don't know why we have. Maybe I don't know why we've never thought of that before.
Yeah, I said
Never.
I said maybe you haven't.
You have?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm always supposing that maybe things have antlers.
Which is why you get to be Patricia for Halloween.
Thank you. I rest my case.
Finally, we settled that. That's amazing, Nettie. So then in 2005, and these are just kind of like the major sightings that I found. 2005, a group of teens describe a serpentine-like creature moving just beneath the surface with antlers.
Oh, so 2 different reports of a creature with antlers.
Now,
3.
Yeah. Now, Lainey Hansel is a former Montana Fish and Wildlife Parks biologist, and they worked the lake for 30 years. Never saw a thing. He doesn't believe it.
You know what? It only shows itself to people that believe.
Lainey
probably
More like
doesn't
lamey.
have any whimsy. I'm just going to call it right now.
Yeah. He does not frolic in fields. And if I was a wildlife parks biologist and I was around fields a lot, I would frolic.
All you'd be doing. You'd probably get fired.
I'd probably get fired and I'd be like, finally, more time for my frolicking.
Hey, when you edit, will you move Emily's comment over so you can hear me say more like Lamey, and then it will go, he doesn't have any whimsy. That'll be really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
More like Lamey, he doesn't have any whimsy.
Or she's just going to let you
'Cause we
explain
said
it
at the
like
same
that.
time.
Perfect.
Maybe
I might
one or
just
the
leave
other.
all of this in.
And then she people will rewind it and be like, can I hear them say it at the same time? Actually, it might naturally
We'll
move
figure
itself
it out.
over.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I've got this.
I know you do.
Now, I read this as Poison, the town. I was like, I didn't know there was a town called Poison. It's
Oh, no.
Polson.
Oh.
Polson, the town, which is right near Flathead Lake, throws a Flathead Lake Monster Festival.
When are we going? When are we going?
We are going. We got to figure out when it is.
Yeah, when is it?
I don't know.
Doesn't say?
I didn't look.
Oh, no need.
We're going.
When
It's all summer.
when you first said the name Flathead Lake Monster, I thought it was a flathead lake monster.
Yeah, with a flat
monster with
Oh.
a flat head. I didn't know
But
that
you're
there was
wrong.
a lake called Flathead Lake. Now I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have a flat head and have antlers.
You missed
You're
the part
right.
where I talked about Flathead Lake.
I didn't miss it. I heard you at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
I just am letting you know where my mind went when you first talked about it.
I get it. Mine too. And then I was very shocked to be like, antlers? What?
What?
I thought this
I'm
had
really-
a flathead.
I'm really quick going to find out when the Flathead Lake Monster Festival is.
is.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's go.
So,
Guys, we've got so many hundreds of festivals to try to go to.
you guys, so everyone who has seen the Flathead Lake Monster report the same thing, though. It's not aggressive. It's just big.
Aww.
Actively avoids boats. I would too. Antlers.
It probably feels really bad about the time it accidentally drowned half of that group of
Yeah,
people
those
on the
girls
ice.
just startled it awake. Sometimes when I'm
probably-
startled awake, I'm not on my best behavior.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, this AI overview says there is no standalone official Flathead Lake Monster Festival, which now I'm mad at this AI overview because I want there to be one.
What about in Polson?
But it says
What about
that
in
there
Polson, Montana?
there's permanent art in Polson, Montana. There's a Flathead Cherry Festival. There's a Queens Bay Lake Monsters open water swim.
Look, you said it's an AI overview, so
We're just going to
Sometimes
assume
they're
it's wrong.
wrong. So swim safe in Flathead Lake, and Flessie is friendly.
Sounds like Flessie will help you if you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
just don't startle Flessie awake.
So,
No.
Flessie, the round-headed monster of Flathead Lake.
Yeah, it's a barrel shape apparently.
The round-headed monster of Flathead Lake. I like that name.
Yeah, it rolls
Also-
right off the tongue. Like a barrel.
Yeah, like a barrel.
I love the pictures I've seen of Flathead Lake. It is really pretty.
Super pretty. It's like one of the biggest lakes in the U.S. I think
That's
I read.
why they take a steamboat across
It's
it.
like 16 miles wide and like 24 miles long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to go there anymore.
But what if we just stay on like one part of the lake?
That sounds okay. It sounds too big.
It's overwhelming, isn't it?
Hey, look,
I'm
guys, we're not
overwhelmed.
forced. We're not forced.
What if Brent says, let's take a quick drive around the lake?
Oh,
Be
and
like,
they'll be
see you
like,
tomorrow.
What if Brent says, hey, we want to rent mountain bikes and ride around the lake?
see you tomorrow.
These are all things he's said to me in the past with much smaller lakes. But
And then he and Jordan and Jason all go on a bike ride.
and Emily goes, do you guys have water? And Brent says,
We got
we're
it.
my
adult
mom.
men.
Oh, yeah,
We're
that's
adult
right.
men. We're fine. And then they call us, please bring water. Brent is like passing out with dehydration.
It turns out we had to carry our bikes on the entire bike ride.
And then they proceed to describe Jason taking phone calls the entire time as he go and grabs another bike and like walks it up the trail.
Oh my gosh, I know. That was so funny. Jason just calmly saving everyone.
And Jason was like, why'd they call your sisters? We were almost done. And I was like, because apparently they were almost dying.
He's like, what are you guys doing here? He's fine.
Jason was like, I was kind of annoyed. I wanted to finish.
We could have let him finish.
Could have. He is an adult man.
He probably still would have
we
beat
found
us
out.
home.
As
Yes,
we
he's an
found
adult
out,
man.
He's an adult man.
Well, awesome job on the flathead, roundhead, Haley.
Thanks.
Flathead Lake roundhead monster.
Yes, named Flessie.
And full heart.
Named Flessie and a full heart and a full rack.
Apparently.
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to tell you about my cryptid.
Which is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to say the name quite yet. I know you both know what I chose, but in the 1880s in Madison Valley, Montana, there were few settlers at the time. You know, not very many people had made their way to that area. So wolves and other predators were a common worry for the few settlers that were there.
Okay.
We were holding hands for strength.
Perfect. I
No,
love it.
Nettie laid out her hands doing something. I immediately took it as she wants to hold hands. And as I was
Perfect.
holding her hand, I realized
Yeah.
that's not what she was doing.
It's perfect. Okay,
So
so
keep my hands to myself.
around this time, there was one particular kind of atypical animal that was terrorizing livestock in the area. And one settler in the valley, he was a Mormon settler named Israel Ammon Hutchins. And he started to hear something one night that didn't sound like other creatures that he'd heard. He heard like a long, eerie, keening wail that sounded kind of like a woman.
Oh.
And so he grabbed his gun. He was a little nervous, but he grabbed his gun and went outside and he saw something stalking his wife's flock of geese. So he fired at it. He missed. He didn't strike the beast. He did fatally shoot his own cow, which he was pretty disappointed about. And then the animal escaped and ran off unharmed. So, you know, other people in the area were reporting sightings of this weird thing. And then another night, a little while later, Hutchins heard something again, and he went out and he saw the creature again, and he fired, and this time he did not miss. He managed to shoot it, and they didn't want to leave the beast or let it slink off away just in case it didn't die. So as it slowly bled out and died, they were like trying to keep it in one bite, chomped through a thick rope. It kept trying as it
my
died to
gosh.
attack the family as they kind of like were trying to surround it. And then
Scary.
it finally succumbed to its injuries and died. So the Hutchins family was left with a really weird looking carcass of this animal. It did not look like a normal wolf. It was almost kind of hyena-like. It had like shorter legs, and then the back kind of sloped noticeably downward from the head. The fur was almost black, and it had faint stripes down the side of its body.
Oh.
So news traveled quickly to the, other settlers in the area, and people were like, oh, yay, they got the thing that's been bothering us, And people were super fascinated, too. So this amateur taxidermist, who was also a grocer and a sawmill operator and a post office guy, his name was
Wow.
Joseph
Man
Sherwood.
of many trades.
Yes, he had a lot of talents. So Joseph Sherwood, he's clearly an entrepreneur, and he's like, hey, Hutchins family, can I trade you a cow for that carcass? And they're like, yes, perfect, because we just lost our cow,
Shot our cow.
Yeah, so they're like, deal. So this Sherwood guy takes the creature, he taxidermies it, and he makes an attraction at his store. So for almost 100 years, people get to come and see this weird looking thing that doesn't. And let me send you guys a picture really quick of
Yes, please.
I want to see a picture.
of this guy. This is a picture of the beast posed with this thing. So Joseph Sherwood names it the Ringdocus. That's the name. So
why?
and this, I don't know. I think he just got to make up a name, and he probably had some whimsy, and he chose Ringdocus.
Unlike Laney.
More like Lamey.
Yeah.
Nailed it. So, for almost 100 years, people could come through the town and see the Ringdocus on display, and it looked kind of freaky, and people loved it. But then it kind of like vanished. So, aside from one picture in a book that was published in 1977 by Hutchins' grandson that had a picture of it, it was almost as if this thing had never existed. It just was like gone. So knowing about the Ringdocus, famous cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman suggested,
Hey, Lauren.
We know him.
Our best friend.
he suggested that perhaps the Ringdocus was actually a Shunka Warakin, which I might be pronouncing wrong, but that is a creature from Iowa Sioux tradition whose name translates into English as carries off dogs. Lauren Coleman is like, let me make this connection and name it. Although it is a little bit weird just because the Iowa and Sioux people didn't extend as far west as Montana. So for their lore to have that crossover is not super likely. It might be kind of a stretch, but
Be an outlier.
yeah,
Of sorts.
yeah. Throughout the 20th century, there were reports of things that people thought could have been the Ringdocus or the Shunka Warakin or something like that. Like in the Rocky Mountains and other places in the United States, including Montana. In 1909, someone killed an enormous black wolf-like animal in Idaho's Boise National Forest.
Really?
Wait, when?
1909.
Oh, I thought you said 1999. And I'm like, that recent? Also, 1909 is still pretty recent. Yeah.
But
In the grand scheme of things.
Time.
okay, so biologists studied it and said that they'd never seen anything like it, except for another strange thing that also came from Idaho. You know, like other reports that were similar that people are like, is this the same thing? As recently as 2020, a witness in Pennsylvania reported seeing something like it, like a cow-sized hyena-like animal that crossed the road in front of him.
Whoa.
And then it loped away at what he claimed was 30 to 40 miles an hour, which is pretty fast.
This is a werewolf.
I think you might be right. I don't know. So then,
Shunka werewolfican.
or the Ringdocus, Wolfie Wolf.
Yes.
So
I love the little head bob back and forth.
sometimes you
missed
gotta,
it, listeners.
sometimes you gotta waggle your head. So anyway, in 2007, guess what was found? The long lost original taxidermied Ringdocus.
Where?
So Hutchins' grandson, Jack Kirby, heard a rumor that Sherwood, the taxidermist post office sawmill general store guy, that his collection had been donated to the Idaho Museum of Natural History. And he was like, that's probably there with it. He went looking and they found it just like under a sheet. It was just there sitting.
Like, we've got some stuff.
It was dressed as a ghost.
Yes, exactly. So now it is back on display. You can go see it. It is in Madison Valley at the History Museum there, and you can go and take a look. And it is probably the most popular exhibit at the Madison Valley History Museum.
Wow.
And there were other, like in 2018, a farmer near Denton shot an unusual looking thing that people thought was probably the same thing. But guess what? Okay, so first of all, Fish and Wildlife, in their usual lack of whimsy, they were like, it doesn't really look like a normal wolf, but let's get DNA testing. And in the meantime, everybody's speculating. They're like, it's a direwolf, it's a werewolf, it's a Ringdocus. It's a Shunka Warakin, which might be the same thing. Lauren Coleman weighed in again at this point.
Yes,
did Lauren?
our
He's
friend.
like,
Say?
he said he believed that the creature was probably nothing more mysterious than a rough-looking wolf, possibly with some German Shepherd ancestry, ? I added the question mark. That's because that's the that's the inflection I thought he would have said it in.
He probably did.
But he
Let's
did
find out.
acknowledge that he didn't know for certain. And then the DNA testing came back, which proved that it was just an odd-looking gray wolf. Like, just, it was a gray wolf, but just looked weird. And it reminds me, do you guys, have you seen these weird, cute little videos of Jimothy the raccoon
Yes.
in Seattle?
No, I haven't
Yes.
seen
You haven't
Jimothy.
seen
So,
Jimothy?
Why
Oh
are
my
you guys
gosh.
seeing Jimothy and I'm not? Are you not? What?
Jimothy,
I got bullied into it.
Jimothy just is like a strange-looking raccoon with a very short body. He has probably a short spine syndrome, but
Yeah,
he just
whatever
lives in the
that's
wild,
called.
and he looks weird.
Where'd you see him on TikTok or
Yeah,
YouTube?
TikTok.
Yeah, everybody loves him, and you can even find baby videos of Jimothy.
Aww.
I hope that this wolf, because it looked funny, wasn't made fun of by other wolves.
I hope not too, but I did oddly
he's
come
so
across.
weird looking.
He is so weird looking.
But also so cute.
They call him Jimothy Raccoon Dog.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh, Jimothy.
All right, don't get lost.
Okay, so basically, also on Cryptozoology Reddit forum, I found somebody who posted a picture of the Ringdocus specimen alongside the Beast of Jevadon, and they were like, "These look like the same thing. What do we think?" And then all these people are like, "The Beast of Jevadon was reported to be 2 wolves," or whatever, like getting all
Yeah, getting all worked up.
lacking whimsy, etc. So basically, somebody thought they kind of looked alike on Reddit, and I was like, ooh, and then all the people in the comments were like, no. But basically, we could find out what the Ringdocus was if the people who are taking care of the Ringdocus body wanted it to be DNA tested, and they do not. They just are not interested, and so it has not been tested. So for now, we just have a little mystery. We don't quite know what it is, but we know that, weirdly, Shunka Warakin is what they call it, even though the taxidermist called it the Ringdocus.
One and the same.
And I guess that's how you know Lauren Coleman has so much influence in what we call cryptids.
Lauren does. Because
does.
he's not just a budding cryptozoologist like us. He's a
Yeah.
full-on cryptozoologist.
It's true.
But we're coming for you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Also,
I kind of like that
listen,
they're keeping the mystery.
let's visit.
Yeah.
Let's bring a syringe. Oh, you guys like that we're keeping the mystery. I had a whole plan to
Listen, I just don't
get
want
a
to.
You could just
DNA sample.
Take some of the hair.
I don't want to disappoint you, but a syringe will not be helpful in collecting DNA from this
Oh, you didn't
very
let me
old.
finish. Let me. No. Let's bring a syringe full of a sleeping agent to knock their security guard out.
Oh, got it.
Oh, yes.
I think this is called premeditation, which could also be a crime. We're joking, law officers.
Premeditation sleeping?
This plan is for educational purposes only.
This is
entertainment purposes only. This is not for educational purposes.
Mostly our entertainment.
Okay, so that's the Ringdocus / Shunka Warakin, and ta-da!
I'm calling it the Ringdocus. I like
I like
Ringdocus.
Ringdocus better too.
I actually really like Shunka Warakin too. It's a great name, but it
is a great name.
Just has a ring to it.
Why?
Oh my gosh!
I'm not stating which one's my favorite.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it the Ringdocus? Just blink if it is.
She's keeping it a mystery.
It's not. Is she like Shunka Warakin better because she didn't blink?
She's
She
keeping
gave
it
it
a
away.
mystery, just like the
You don't get
DNA
it.
of the Ringdocus.
You don't get to boss my eyes around.
Oh yeah. Boom, boom.
Ah,
She blinked.
All right,
Hey,
so
listen, that's Montana Cryptids.
that is
you
Montana
guys.
Those
Those were fun.
Yeah, you've gotten 26 cryptids out of us. Ringing
All right,
us
sing the
dry.
song, Nettie.
Don't.
Me? I felt like you were talking to me. I did.
No. Yeah, you
No.
did.
26 times 3.
26 states of cryptids.
Quick, someone do the math. What's 26 times 3? I'll give you a hint. It's 75 plus 3. It's 78.
Good job.
I just did that math in my head.
Really
That's
proud of you.
because you know how to subitize.
Yeah.
Haley, remind me to look up what subitize means.
I don't know what it means either.
I think it means like you break things down.
Yeah.
Math. You guys, this is also, this is for educational purposes only.
Oh, boy. We're this again.
Okay, I'm taking us out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening. Once again, we are the Spooky Darlings. If you have any stories that you would like to tell us, we would love to hear cryptid encounters from any state, even a state we've already done, and states we haven't done yet, or suggestions on cryptids for upcoming states. What's our next one? What comes after Montana?
I don't know.
Starts with an M.
I don't think it does. I think Montana's the last one.
It does not.
Sorry, Montana. Nebraska.
Called it.
And then Nevada. So
You called two things. You called
New
that it was going to be
Hampshire.
Nebraska, and you also called that she was
Yeah.
going to sing the song.
I did.
yeah, how else am I supposed to? I can't recite it. I might be able to rap it.
Don't.
I
It's
won't.
okay. Let's not.
Let's just
That's
figure
for
that
later.
out later.
Listen, that's for our last episode, which is Wyoming.
Look, listeners, email us at thespookydarlings
At gmail.com. I'm closing us out at gmail.com. If you would like to treat yourself to some merch, you can go to thespookydarlings.printful.me. Also, find us on our socials. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, I think we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, we are The Spooky Darlings Podcast. YouTube, we are The Spooky Darlings Podcast as well. Yeah, on all of those, we're The Spooky Darlings Podcast. And then listen to us wherever you pod at The Spooky Darlings. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
5 stars.
Yes.